I'm about to get all up in your head.
You're a voice actor. You're an entrepreneur. You're a VOPRENEUR. Welcome to the Everyday VOPRENEUR podcast, your guide through the business of voiceover.
Your voiceover demos are your #1 marketing tool, and you need to display them on your website in a way that works on any device or browser. VoiceSam is the player producers love. Plus, it offers tools that can improve your email signature, quickly create a one-page website, and much more. Sign up now at voicesam.com/MarkScott and get 3 months of the base player for the price of one. That's voicesam.com/MarkScott for full details and to sign up.
The VOPRENEUR podcast. Hey, it doesn't suck.
Not as funny as Conan. Not as cute as Seth Meyers. Not as smart as Colbert. But he's one of us, and that counts for something. Here's Mark Scott, the original Everyday VOPRENEUR.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Everyday VOPRENEUR podcast, your guide through the business of voiceover. I'm Mark Scott, the original Everyday VOPRENEUR, ready to have a little therapy in today's session. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. Before we dive into this week's episode, though, I do want to take a minute to say thank you for leaving your reviews on Apple Podcasts. I don't know if you realize it or not, but your reviews and your ratings help other people to be able to find the podcast, and I'm grateful. So if you haven't done it already, please take a moment to leave that review. And of course, remember, you can subscribe wherever fine podcasts are given away for free. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean. You can listen on Amazon Music. You can even say, "Hey Siri, play the Everyday VOPRENEUR podcast," and she absolutely will. She's very polite like that. So this week, the episode, it's going to be a little bit different. I've been thinking about this one a lot and how I wanted to approach it. You know, on a fairly regular basis, I would say on a pretty much a daily basis, I am accused. I don't know if that's the right word. I mean, it doesn't sound like a good word. That word generally has a negative connotation, and I don't think this is necessarily a negative thing, but let's just say that on a pretty much daily basis, I'm accused of being inside people's heads. When I'm doing coaching sessions with other voice actors, they always say that, "Man, you are inside my head." When people listen to this podcast, sometimes in the comments, they mention that I'm inside their head. When I send out email tips, people often mention being inside their head. During my Free Advice Friday broadcasts and in some of the threads that take place in the VOPRENEUR Facebook group, people often talk about me being inside their head. So this episode, I mean, it's advice for sure, and it's meant to be practical advice for sure, but I think it's probably going to be a little bit more like a therapy session. And it's not going to be a long episode, but it's going to be very much to the point. Over the years of doing coaching and working with voice actors, there are certain questions, or I guess you'd say certain themes, that come up on a regular basis. And because I keep a lot of notes about the different things that I coach people with, and it gives me ideas into how I can better help other voice actors, every once in a while I'll go back through some of the notes that I'm keeping and things that I'm jotting down. And as I reflect on all of that stuff, that's where I start to find some of these themes. And so what I want to do in this episode is I want to present some narratives. This episode is very much designed to shift your perspective. And the way that I'm going to do that is by asking some questions that come from the talent perspective and offering up replies that come from the client perspective. And as you're listening to this, you're probably going to think that some of it is a lot of speculation, but it's actually not, because a lot of these scenarios are scenarios that I have been through in my own business. And that is why I'm actually able to coach people on this stuff, because I've been there and done that. So while the questions have been generalized and the answers have been generalized, the themes all come from the questions that voice actors are bringing to me on a daily basis. And the answers are coming from conversations that I have either had personally with my own clients or other voice actors have had with their clients, and they've brought them back to me after we've had a coaching session, discussed their problems and whatnot, and they've gone ahead and found the solutions. So what I've got are 10 different questions that I want to present. And as I go through these, no doubt some of these are going to resonate with you. Maybe all of them are going to resonate with you. I want you to start thinking from a different perspective. That's the most important part of this episode. If I don't accomplish anything else, it's just to get you to flip the script. So here we go. You say, what if I'm annoying people when I market? What if they're saying, this just saved me the hassle of having to go out and source the best talent for this project on my own? You say, I don't want to follow up. They'll think I'm desperate. What if they're saying, I'm so glad they followed up and reminded me. Clearly they pay attention to the details. You say, what if I get into the directed session and I'm not good enough? What if they're saying, I'm so glad we found you. You're the perfect voice for this project and our vision. You say, I don't have a fancy studio and I can't afford a 416 or a U87. What if they're saying, the audio you sent sounds great? You say, I'm still new and don't have enough experience. What if they're saying, you're just the right voice for us and we're looking forward to working with you again soon? You say, what if I quote this rate and lose the job? What if they're saying, we don't want to work with amateurs. Our budget is in line with your quote. You say, if I email them more than once, they'll flag me as spam. What if they're saying, thanks for keeping in touch. Actually, we've got something coming up we think you'd be a great fit for. You say, I don't want to connect on social media. They'll think I'm a stalker. What if they're saying, it's great to be connected here. I look forward to getting to know each other better. You say, I don't know if I can do this. What if they're saying, I know you can do this? And finally, you say, I don't know if I sound good enough. I say, Gilbert Godfrey and Bobcat Goldthwait book. Their uniqueness proves there are opportunities out there for us all. We just have to make the right connections. Here's what I want you to write down. I want you to pay attention to every one of those questions. And I want you to really pay attention to every one of those responses. Because I know some of those are resonating with you right now. I know, and admittedly this time, I'm loving a little bit that I'm inside your head. I want to get in there. I want to get in your head because I want to change some of those narratives. I want to flip the script. I want to get you to shift your perspective. So here's a little secret. This is what I want you to write down because I really want you to reflect on this. It takes the exact same amount of effort to create a positive narrative as it does to create a negative narrative. Remember that. It takes the exact same amount of effort to create a positive narrative as it does to create a negative narrative. Be cautious, cognizant, be intentional about the stories that you're telling yourself. Thanks so much for listening. I'll catch you on the next one.
The Everyday VOPreneur Podcast. Available everywhere fine podcasts are given away for free. Mostly, we think.
In order to successfully self-market your voiceover services, you're going to have to learn how to be a really effective email marketer. And one of the hardest things for voice actors to do is figuring out how to write the perfect introductory email. In my next introductory email workshop, that is exactly what we are going to address. I am going to help you write the perfect introductory email template that you are going to be able to use over and over and over again. The workshop is happening February 16th from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. It is going to be live via Zoom, and it is only open to 10 voice actors because I'm going to be working with each participant on an individual basis and a group basis to help you craft better introductory emails. Sign up before it's sold out. February 16th, 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. Eastern. Limited to 10 people. Details available at markscottcoaching.com. That's markscottcoaching.com.
And scene.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for hanging in. Thanks for hanging out. Want more VOpreneur goodness? Jump online at VOpreneur.com.